Hello, it's me, Yap Monkey, again, here with an unexpected update. This is a really massive non-content update, like a massive QOL update, and I really wanted to talk about it. It affects everything that you are going to do, everything that I'm going to do, everything in PVM, outside of PVM, everything. So it's really, really important. So I wanted to take a look at it. Also, why are they putting Sonic the Hedgehog guy in the... I don't know how to feel about that. Okay, whatever. Okay, looking at it, very major bullet points. Considerably improved energy regeneration at lower agility levels while leaving it unchanged at level 99. And energy drains more slowly in all scenarios at every weight and agility level. This becomes more significant as agility level and weight increases. This is the Run Energy beta, but now in the full game. So they've done 2 Run Energy betas in the past, and now they have settled on something, and it's in the game now. Run Energy has been buffed, dramatically buffed. Across the board, everything that you're doing will be easier. Now, it's buffed more for certain scenarios. The big thing, energy regeneration at lower agility levels is improved, but it's left unchanged at level 99. The last beta was actually different than this. It was more buffed at 99, so they've made it a bit less good than it was in the beta, which I think is fair because it was crazy, crazy good. In the beta, you didn't need a stamina in any PVM whatsoever. I think this is a more fair balance because now it's just going to be an occasional dose in rare cases, but we'll get into that. What exactly did they do? Basically, now your run energy drain is going to be based on your level as well, instead of just the regen rate. Because before, for agility level, only your regen rate was affected, but now it affects both your regen and the drain rate, which means that agility levels matter a ton more. And they've also just buffed it across the board, so it's just better regeneration in general. What you're looking at is, at the weight cap, it's a little bit better, and it regens a little bit faster. If you're not at the weight cap, if you're at very low weight or in the negatives, like wearing graceful or something, it drains so freaking slowly. It drains so slowly. So if you're doing things like skilling herbivore, anything in general that uses run energy, and you're at 0 weight, you're gonna be using basically no energy at all. In the beta, I managed to do an entire Sepulchre run, floor 1 to floor 5, without touching an obelisk, and I still had energy left at the end. I haven't tested that. That could be the same. I would assume it's the same. You don't need to touch the obelisk anymore. If I'm wrong, crucify me. Unlucky. But the thing I wanted to test is because it's a bit worse than it was in the beta, I went and sent chambers with this because in the beta, you easily could do chambers without any stamina needed at all. And I was curious if that's still the case. So I went and tested. I did 2 runs. I did one with World Scythe and I did one with 4-1, both in max gear. It's important to remember that Torva and Masori is really heavy. So you're always gonna be at the weight cap no matter what in a raid. So I'm at the weight cap in both setups. Is it enough to get through the raid? And the answer is still yes. You can still get through a raid without stamina. Now, it's tight. I died before head phase, so that made it a little bit more awkward to tell if I was going to run out of energy if I hadn't died on World Scythe method. But basically, I would have been just about at 0 as I was killing head. So very close. And with 4-1, I actually ended the fight with about 15 run energy left. So I got very lucky that run. I kind of nuked it, so you would expect a little more drain than I got, but you don't need a stamina at all if you play perfectly and have max gear. It's important to remember as well that I'm 99 agility, so obviously that helps. I forget I want to say level 90 is the last level that mattered in the beta, but that might be different now. I haven't been able to fully test every breakpoint. It's also important to remember that if you're in a lower setup, like you're using bandos and a bofa and stuff like that, it's going to weigh less. It's going to weigh like 50. The weight cap is 64. So if you weigh less, you might be coming out better. I haven't tested every single permutation of levels and stuff. What you can expect is, for your sake, if you're not playing perfect and you're doing a chambers, maybe not at 99 agility, are you going to need a stamina still? Probably, but you're going to be just fine getting through every single basic room, including Vespula. Like, you are not going to need a stamina through the raid at all. You'll hit 1 or 2 yellow pools. And for Ulm, you'll need maybe a dose, maybe 2 at worst. At absolute worst, you could need 2 doses. Now, what does that mean for other places? Is there other places that stamina is dead? Yeah, basically everywhere. Tob, do we need to worry about that pot share at Nilo's anymore? Do we need to worry about that pot share at Webs? No. No, stamina's gone. Stamina's gone from Tob. Out of the brain. You buy stamina so you can put them in your bank after the raid now. That's it. That's the only purpose of that. Inferno, I haven't tested either. It could be. For a regular Inferno, you shouldn't need a stamina for Zuck anymore. For a speed, we might still need 1 stamina. You normally bring 2 in a speed, so maybe 1 is okay. Maybe 0? because in the beta, you didn't need any stamina at all for any reason, but I haven't had time to test that either. You're probably not going to need a stamina in PVM basically at all anymore. If you do need it, it's very limited in how much you need to use, and you'll be using much less than you were. Blast Furnace is a concern as well. Obviously, when you're carrying these ores, you're going to be fairly heavy, so it still is going to drain energy fairly quickly, but it's going to be a bit better than before. You'll still be using less stamina. So overall, Ironmen rejoice. Your stamina usage is gonna plummet. You're gonna need it for less things in general, and doing things like questing early. I just did Monkey Madness right after the update on the backup hardcore. I managed to get through the entire Monkey Madness tunnels from 100 energy to 0. I made it all the way to Zunok. So like, it's kind of crazy for questing. That was at 60 agility. It's kind of crazy that the difference is night and day at lower levels as well. So like, man, this feels so much better. Huge. I was really waiting on this update, so I'm really happy about that. Now that's the big thing, but there's a couple other things in the bug fixes that they snuck in that are massive as well. So let's take a look at that. There's this one that's a little longer, and it's kind of massive, and it's kind of controversial. We have, to prevent Megascale boosting abuse at Chambers of Xeric, we've changed how unique rewards are distributed. Now players who leave a raid in progress are eligible to receive unique items, but if they would do so, the reward is discarded instead. This ensures that leaving a Cox raid no longer transfers loot chances onto remaining participants. So typical mega scaling, where you dump everything onto the one guy and that low level account is getting purples out the wazoo, that's dead. Which is pretty fair, I think. I think everybody felt that was a little bit gross. A little bit busted. I'm sure a lot of people are sad about it, but I always am on the side of abuse whatever is available, and even this felt like too far for me, so I wasn't touching this. On my hardcore, I had no plans to do any mega scaling at all because it felt kind of gross, kind of icky. But I'm glad to see this change. This was a nerf that needed to happen, but it brings up a couple questions. Why were people doing these mega scales in the first place? What was really the thing going on? Why was there a big market for this? And I would argue the reason is the purples at Chambers are very rare. It is much slower to complete Chambers of Xeric than it is the other two raids, especially Toa. So I think this is a thing that brings into question, are Chambers drops too rare? Are they too rare? I have said often that Toa drops are too common and need a nerf. That's been my stance always. But this has made me reconsider, do Toa drops need to be nerfed, or does Chambers need to be brought more in line? Has Toa set a new precedent? And I think honestly, I think it's the latter. I think Chambers the fact Chambers has so many purples and the chance of getting a purple is so low compared, like Toa, you're getting into the rates of like 1 out of 9. In my Dolo 500s, it's a 1 in 4 chance at a purple. It's absurd. Comparing it to Chambers, where it's like doing a CM gets you, it's just a very low rate. It makes me question, like, do they need to look at this? There's more purples from Chambers than the other raids, and it's rarer per purple. It's rarer to get a purple than the other raids as well. So do they need to look at buffing this a little bit? I think it's the time to look at it. Now that we're doing things like, nerfing boosting, I think we also need to look at changing up the raid in general. Going dry on a T-bow has always been like the scariest thing to go dry on. It's the only thing that compares to going dry for something like an Ellie or Nightmare Drops. But a T-bow is really important. You can't skip it. You need that T-bow. So it's like when you go super dry for a T-bow 5, 6, 7 times the rate, you basically just quit the game. You just quit the game because that's so stupidly rare. I think it's a good time to look at it. It's a good thing to bring up. I think people should be talking about how rare the drops from Chambers are. On my main, I have hundreds and hundreds of regular Chambers and like 600 CM. I think I have like 1,300 raids completed, something like that total. I haven't seen a T-bow yet. I haven't seen that yet on my main. It's not uncommon. That's not even that crazy. That's what, 1.5x rate, something like that. I have like 3 mega rares and no T-bow. That's not uncommon at all. I don't know. I think it's something they need to look at and think about. I really think Chambers could be brought in line with the other raids, and it could be that Chambers just has too many purples, which has always been an issue. They've always been moving the purples away. It used to drop things, I don't know if you remember, it used to drop the dragon harpoon, dragon throwing knives, and they moved those away. So maybe they need to consider doing that with some of the other drops. I can't think of an obvious place to put anything, but maybe new enemies that they add, new Slayer mobs, new bosses could be taking some Chambers drops and just leaving the rate as it is, so it's just less purples total that you have to get. I don't know. Chambers has always had a really bloated drop table. It's just always dropped a ridiculous amount of purples. Like, it's insane how many different items you get from Chambers. So that might be the approach they need to take. I feel like some action needs to be taken on Chambers. It definitely feels like the purples are rare. They're very, very rare. And there's a reason people were mega scaling. I want to mention as well, they actually took out a bunch of boosting clans not too long ago. A bunch of boosting discords got hit off. It was like over 50 different discords, and a lot of the major ones, Tri-Smoke is the big one that got banned. A lot of discords got purged, and this is in line with them kind of attacking these boosting discords, also taking out the main breadwinner, which is Megascales for them. Kind of interesting. Their approach to stopping boosting seems a lot more aggressive lately. I don't know if it's a bad or a good thing. It's just interesting. It's interesting. In general, Jagex has kind of taken a neutral stance on this and not really been punishing a lot of stuff. So it's interesting to see them and hitting people off, like kind of left and right. Mega scaling is not completely dead, okay? A lot of people are still going to be mega scaling. It's just that early boost method where people were like grabbing a sang that they would use as soon as they got the mage level on their Iron Man, you know, like going in with like low combat. You get what I'm saying? Just like the mega boosty, like stinky gross side that got nerfed. But a lot of people are going to be going in mega scaling. It's still going to be the best way to get purples. You're just going to need some gear and be able to kill stuff, you know, that kind of thing. So I think it's fair overall. You can still BGS down your mystics. You can still chin them. You can chin your stack of shamans after somebody stacks them up. It's all still there. It's just you can't do everything on a different account and then hand it off to a different one. That's the main thing. There's a couple good changes in here, but there's one more that I thought was funny, which is Dharok the Wretched no longer deals his max hit on every successful attack after his health has been reduced. Confirmed bug. It might have been intended when it came out, but it's not intended now, so they got rid of it. Let it be known, I took the L on this one for you guys, for all the little guys out there, all the hardcores out there. I took the L. I ate the ego berries for you. So now you will live. Congratulations. Cue the clips of Roydy getting smashed by Dharok, of Sicknerd getting chanced by Dharok, and me dying to Dharok. It's so unlucky, but now we are free. We are safe. Dharok will hurt no one ever again, unless you get very unlucky and he maxes repeatedly. You know, that could always happen. But this is crazy to me because this bug has actually been in the game since release. There's footage of somebody from the first year YouTube went up. There's a YouTube video of somebody showing the bug where they just were trying to kill Dharok with no protection prayers, and he maxed every single hit, like 5 hits in a row. So this bug, the most like popular PVM in the game probably of all time. Everybody knows Barrows. Everybody who doesn't play the game anymore remembers Barrows. The fact that this bug has been in for years and years and years and years is kind of crazy. It's kind of monumental, and I may have discovered it, maybe, kind of. Well, maybe somebody just posted in my Discord and I went and tested it and confirmed it was true, but listen, I'm not saying anything. You can gather what you want from that. I will continue to not eat ego berries and bring my Gomel's hilt that I should have gotten in the first place. God damn it. Unlucky, bro. What can you do? And my wife won't kill me this time. Okay. Unlucky. Let it be known as well, water jugs and Toa, they can be maged now. One of the 50 Toa flaws has been scratched off. In a mere 80 years, we'll have them all gone. Let it be known. Let it be known they are ticking those bad boys off. I'll take it. This was really annoying, but like, man, there's a couple other things to look at too. Maybe one day. We'll see. Yeah, there's nothing else too crazy going on. There's a lot of little changes hidden in the fixes, and the run energy thing is insane. Let it be known as well that the next slated update is these guys. And they're going to be really good for your Iron Man as well. They dropped some really, really good items. This staff is really solid. It's a 6-tick staff, but it's really, really effective for elemental weakness. Basically, this is like a slightly worse harm staff for elementally weak things. It's going to be really strong for things like Zulrah, things like dragons, anything with an elemental weakness. Barrows as well, if you want to go grind those after this. That staff is really, really solid. I'm definitely going to be going for this. Not to mention, they're also dropping upgrades to Eagle Eye and Mystic Might, both giving them extra damage and accuracy. It's pretty big. It's pretty big. Obviously, the chivalry thing didn't go through, but this is going to be a pretty big update when this comes out as well. The rewards are going to be really, really helpful especially for any mid-game account or any Iron Man, that's going to be massive. Iron Men rejoice. Iron Men rejoice. All the Iron Man updates. Let's go. Mains are just sitting there like, I don't give a crap about any of this. I mean, the Energy is big for mains as well, surely, but yeah, no, this is definitely improving Iron Man a lot. I'm looking forward to it. Let me know what you're gonna be doing. I'm gonna be enjoying my Iron Man very much with the run energy changes. I've been coping that they would add these, and of course it's the first week of January. Let's go. It's so massive for so many things on Iron Man. It's gonna be insane. Leave a like if you liked the video. It really helps me out, and drop a sub as well. I love you so much. Have a wonderful night. Good night. Mwah!